It feels like after turning 35, even if I don't ask for a bride price, or even offer to pay one myself, no one seems interested. It's honestly quite scary, and I can't delay any longer. If I keep waiting, I really won't be able to have children. But being anxious doesn't help. I'm telling you, the moment people hear I'm 35, they turn around and leave, without even caring whether I have a house, a car, or a good education. I feel like my only option now is to go back to my hometown in the countryside and try my luck with some older single men in the village.
I know many amazing women between the ages of 20 and 30 who have been single since birth, meaning they've never been in a relationship. These women are beautiful, have good jobs, are cheerful and outgoing, have lots of friends, yet they've simply never been pursued by men, or if they have, it's been very rare. Inevitably, they start questioning themselves. Am I really not attractive? But that's not it, ladies. The real problem is that most men don't know how to appreciate a woman's abilities. To be blunt, they're not capable of looking an equally accomplished woman in the eye as an equal. Just look at the type of women they usually prefer. The tags are always things like dominant woman, pure and sexy, naive small-town girl, seductress. These labels don't represent an independent personality. At the core, they just say 3 words: ease of use. In other words, pleasant, submissive, easy to control. The image of these women in their minds serves a fantasy. Either someone who nurtures, cares, and plays the mother role, or someone who admires them, looks up to them, and plays the fan. They don't want an equal partner. They want someone to feed their ego, regulate their mood, not compete for space, and preferably look stunning while doing it. When they meet a woman who is truly capable, who has a voice, defends her own interests, has her own values and opinions about the world, they get uncomfortable. They don't just fail to appreciate her, they might even start to resent her. Because it means you don't need them. And if you don't need them, you won't go out of your way to please them. If you're not pleasing them, where do their benefits come from? And here's a controversial point people don't want to admit. Men today seem more lost than ever, and not just in China. In clubs and parties, it's becoming increasingly common to see groups of men spending the whole night talking among themselves, drinking together, and avoiding any approach to women. Some even seem more comfortable complimenting each other than making a move on a woman. It's as if there's a silent trend. Fear of approaching, fear of putting themselves out there, and even a certain tendency to hide away in male-only circles while saying, women are just too much trouble. When faced with conflict, you argue. When you don't like something, you say no. When there's an opportunity, you go after it. They're not used to that type of woman, and they don't want to get used to her. So, to them, excellent woman becomes aggressive woman. And aggressive means not submissive, hard to control. But that aggressiveness to us isn't hostility. It's the courage to fight for what's ours, the foundation of our place in this world. In most people's eyes, being excellent means fitting in, saying yes, and not rocking the boat. I don't do that. I say no, I go after what I want. For many men, that's a negative. They'll say you're difficult and hard to deal with. But here's the thing. You didn't come into this world to please or serve anyone's emotions. Your strength and excellence push away those who can't interact with a woman as an equal. They're not used to it and they don't want to try. And don't come to me with the "you deserve someone better, he'll come along eventually" cliché, because in most cases that someone isn't coming. This is a structural reality. When you grow into a complete person, you realize that finding someone equally complete is rare. So don't blame yourself. You're not wrong. You're simply walking a path that many haven't caught up to yet. And the destination of that path isn't necessarily finding someone. It's living without shrinking yourself to fit into someone else's life. You have choices, you have confidence, you're not afraid of not being loved because you know who you are. You keep walking without turning back. And maybe, as you walk, you'll notice the number of people walking alongside you get smaller. In the end, maybe the number of people who admire you won't even grow. But by then, you won't care anymore.
In Huludao, many older single women make the same mistake when going on blind dates. Today, a young woman complained to me that men nowadays have no patience and can't handle being tested. She was born in 1993 and works as an office clerk in a factory in Huludao, earning around 50,000 to 60,000 yuan a year. A friend introduced her to a man, born in 1992. He works as a manager at a company in Beijing, earning over 200,000 yuan a year. When they first met, they were both very satisfied with each other. After that, the man began courting her, taking her out for meals, going shopping, picking her up and dropping her off at work. This went on for over 2 months. Then he prepared a bouquet of flowers to confess his feelings, hoping to make the relationship official. But the woman felt things were moving too fast. The man thought her hesitation was understandable and decided to spend more time with her. He pursued her for another 3 months, and on the Qixi festival, Chinese Valentine's Day, he confessed again. However, she felt he was too impatient. After all, they had only known each other for 6 months, and that his intentions were too direct. The man then lost his patience and asked her directly if she actually liked him. "If you want to be together, let's be together. If not, then forget it." She thought to herself, "We're not even together yet and he's already talking like this. Imagine if we were." So, she rejected him. Upon hearing this, the man said nothing, threw the flowers away, got in his car, and left. When I heard the story, I was puzzled and asked her, "But do you actually like him or not?" She replied, "I do, and he's in great shape financially, but as a woman, if I let him win me over so easily, he won't treasure me. There's that old saying, what you can't have is always the best." At that moment, I thought, here we go again, another person overdosing on toxic social media wisdom. You're no longer that young, and your own conditions aren't exceptional, yet you think being hard to get is the key to making a man value you. That mindset is already deeply flawed. If you're hard to get and he still keeps chasing you, it only means he has no other options. If he had more options, he would have pursued someone else long ago. In the end, what's left are problematic men or those with no real choice. And then, later, you'll complain, "Why is it that only men with poor conditions go after me?" But this result is something you created yourself. Who else can you blame?
你们真的是拎不清，自己月薪5、6
I've noticed that some older single men really have no self-awareness. Earning 5 or 6,000 a month, yet saying this one isn't good enough, that one doesn't have chemistry. Let's be honest, with that salary, do you really think you're in a position to be so picky? And sure, if you didn't have a mortgage, maybe it'd be more understandable. But some of you do. With a home loan to pay, you can barely support yourselves, yet you still fantasize about finding a sweet little beauty, gentle, virtuous, beautiful, and not after your money. What is this little beauty supposed to be out of her mind? Seriously, how are you any different from the older single women you love to criticize, the ones who have nothing special to offer but still dream of landing a rich, handsome man? And here's the thing, the few older men who do have a bit of money tend to be as calculating as an abacus. They want this, they want that, and they want more. Do you not understand the economic climate of the past couple of years? Just in the last 2 years, I've seen countless men who used to be on a pedestal come crashing down. Some who were making 1 to 1.8 million yuan a year are now barely pulling in 200 to 300,000, and that's if they're lucky. But their lifestyle expenses? Still high. Monthly spending? Still the same. How much do you think is left over? Others, with a bit of spare cash, start thinking they're big-shot entrepreneurs, invest it all in a business, and lose every penny. Some still work in companies, both state-owned and private, but once they're laid off, they start driving rideshare or delivering food. If they're debt-free, that's already a big plus, yet they're still full of demands. Life is like a parabola. When you're at your peak, that's when you have the best chance of finding a high-quality partner. To put it bluntly, when your market value is high, that's when you should make your move. The day you're down and broke, you'll realize just how ruthless the world is. And some men, thinking they're handsome, keep drinking up all this toxic motivational nonsense, believing that a man at 40 is still young. Have you looked in the mirror lately? In reality, only a tiny fraction of men keep taking care of themselves, dressing well, and maintaining their looks as they age. The majority, once they hit a certain age, end up with the middle-aged spread, oily skin, and a gut, or a bald head. You're 35, not 25. No matter how good-looking you are, so what? You've passed the age where you can win women over just with your face or smooth talk. At this stage, everyone's looking at the whole package. Do you think younger women, those born after 2000, are stupid? That they're blind? Or do you think that just because you have a bit of money and look decent, they'll chase after you? Wake up.
Girls from this generation aren't desperate for money or looking for a daddy to provide for them. And here's something you won't like to hear. Most men past a certain age are already in the middle-aged belly plus oily, wrinkled face category. Some women genuinely can't even feel physical desire looking at that. And another thing, you're worried about whether a woman can still have children at her age, but have you considered that she might be wondering whether you can still perform in that department?
特别的崩溃，特别的沮丧。
I'm completely frustrated, extremely discouraged. I even asked someone to introduce me to a blind date, but as soon as they found out I was born in 1988, they rejected me without even meeting me. I work hard, strive to earn money, study to improve myself, stay active, control my weight, and only now at this age do I realize that men simply don't care about any of that. They don't look at your education, your income, or your appearance. They only care about your life value, which in reality means your age. Because high-quality men either got married early or only like women in their 20s. For someone my age, they won't even consider it. I feel lost and anxious. My period is already more than 10 days late and still hasn't come. I don't know whether I should keep going on blind dates or just accept my fate and compromise.
南京的大龄剩男剩
The older single men and women in Nanjing. Honestly, I really need to vent about them. Basically, they tend to be picky, lazy, and homebodies. On top of that, they live in a constant state of just letting life pass by, only occasionally remembering that they want to find a partner. Recently, here in the city, we're organizing a youth matchmaking corner, which is expected to gather about 100 to 200 people on site. When we started promoting the event, it quickly became clear how responses varied by age group, both in tone and enthusiasm. Those born in the late 90s, like after 95, and even the 2000s, are super enthusiastic. They reply excitedly, "Great." And, once the location is confirmed, they say they'll come. But those born before 1993, especially in the 80s or mid-80s, generally have a completely different attitude. "Oh, too awkward. I have social anxiety. I don't want to go." I don't think there will be high-quality people there, it's probably just a bunch of older singles. In other words, extremely picky. So, let me clear up a misconception. A lot of people think that in these 100-plus people matchmaking events, the participants are mostly older singles. But that's actually not true, they don't even show up. They look down on it, are too lazy to attend, and have no energy for it. Once you're past 33, your desire to socialize drops significantly. Even if you feel anxious and want to get married, you rarely take action. It's basically all talk, no execution, and meanwhile, you keep mentally wearing yourself down. Sometimes, I think working in this industry really makes you see things clearly. There is a group of people you simply have to accept will probably never get married. In today's matchmaking market, there are men and women who just aren't going to get married, period. Oh, and by the way, if anyone from Nanjing was born after 95 or in the 2000s, you're welcome to join. For this edition, we already have over 140 people registered, and most of them are post-95 or even post-2000, coming in with a lot of interest.
In the end, what these testimonies show isn't just personal drama, it's a raw and even slightly comical portrait of today's dating market. You have men who want eternal youth in a partner, but refuse to look in the mirror and face their own middle-aged belly. You have women who spent years dedicating themselves to education, career, and self-care, only to find out, far too late, that none of that weighs as much as the date of birth on their ID. On one side, there are the picky singles who, with an average salary, an unfinished apartment, and a fixed menu of steamed buns with tomato and egg, dream of a sweet little beauty who doesn't care about money but is young, beautiful, and obedient. On the other, women who have experienced firsthand what a high-standard lifestyle looks like and therefore won't settle for going back to the basics even if it means standing in the long line of solitude. And the most curious thing is that, in the middle of this theater, everyone swears they're just waiting for the right person. But the truth is, many people don't actually want a person, they want a pre-made character, shaped from an ideal that either never existed or has been frozen in the past. While some run away from any sign of commitment and others choose as if they were a lottery prize, time keeps ticking, and the market, like any market, is ruthless to those who don't know when to close the deal. Maybe the lesson here is simple. those who still think they have all the time in the world are actually running out of stock. Because in love, just like in business, those who wait too long either end up accepting any offer in the end or walk away empty-handed. And now, I want to hear from you. Is the problem really a lack of good people, or is it that expectations no longer match reality? Leave your opinion in the comments, because I want to know what you think about all this. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to catch more stories and analyses like this. See you in the next video.